Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 126. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you are all well. If you've not noticed, I'm deeply offended, but if you have noticed, I've been posting a little bit less frequently at the minute, so I've been posting like an episode every couple of weeks just at the minute. It's definitely not a permanent change, 100% not. I've just got lots of projects on the go at the minute and I'm really focusing on up-leveling the membership and some other things that I'm working on. So don't worry, I'm fine and I will definitely be returning to weekly episodes soon, my friends. So I just wanted to mention that to you because I had a couple of messages off you. So this week, I want to talk about here we fucking go, Gloria's jumping up, about to start a grooming session where she's going to give you some ASMR, licking her tits for the next half an hour, no doubt. Hang on, let me move her. Sorry about that. Every time I try and record an episode on my bed, I'm sat on my bed, she wants to be very, very involved. So you can probably still hear her purring in the background, but we're just going to have to make do with it, guys. So this week, I want to talk to you about something that I have realised that I've never spoken about before, and it came up in a conversation over the weekend, and it's probably one of the best parts of learning how to consciously use the law of assumption. So I'm going to share that with you. But before we do that, I am actually going to record a pre-roll, so you might have already just heard this if I've already added it before I upload this episode. But I am very, very happy to tell you that now that I have moved our membership to a brand new platform called School, which is 100 times better than the old one, and I am completely obsessed with it. It is so much more fun and like active and easy to navigate. But now that I've moved us, I now have the ability to offer you a free trial where you can come inside the vault with full access, wait for it, for 7 whole days. And I am so happy about this because on the old one I could do a 2-day membership, but it wasn't long enough, and it's just such a good feature, so I'm really, really happy about that. So please take me up on that. There is so much value inside the vault that is going to help you. There's absolutely no pressure for you to join whatsoever. Even if you did join, you can cancel it yourself at any time. I'm not going to be messaging you, trying to convince you to stay. That is not my style. Plus, I won't need to convince you anyway because it's absolutely fucking class, even if I do say so myself. But honestly, please come inside and have a look around. Even if you have no intention of staying after the 7 days, that's absolutely fine, because there will be content in there that I know will help you. And like I said, you'll have full access to it. So go in, trust your intuition, come and watch whichever lessons that you feel drawn to. Maybe watch some of the masterclasses because they're all pre-recorded and they've all been uploaded on there. So just come in and enjoy it. And you can get that 7-day access by going to my Instagram bio and clicking the link, which will take you straight to my website. I'm constantly finding ways that I can improve the vault at the minute. So this week we've decided that we're going to add in a book club, which is very exciting. And it was requested by a couple of my current members. So I'm just really proud of it, guys. Really proud of it. And I want to share it with you all because I know that maybe some of you have been thinking, oh, I really want to join, or you don't feel like you're quite ready yet, but there will be something inside there that I know can help you, and I just want to give that to you. So anyway, well, let's get started with this week's topic, which is something that will definitely impact you more than manifesting a £1 million yacht, more than manifesting your 15-bed mansion, although those are fucking amazing. We're here for those. But it's using the law of assumption to create a fun, enjoyable, easy life, which is just something that is massively overlooked in manifestation content. I have overlooked it. I've never taught about this before. So, yeah, I really want to talk about that today because I think it's a really important part of the reason why you should learn more about the law of assumption. Obviously, we talk about our big, juicy visions all the time, and that's so good. Like, I really want you to continue doing that. But also, why not use it to create a life that just feels like every day is a good day? And you can absolutely do that. So you are already making assumptions. You are making assumptions right now. You assume something about everything in your reality because you've created your reality. So let's say, for instance, you get up in the morning, you will start making assumptions based on various different factors. It might be the weather, it might be the day of the week, it might be that you know that you're going into a meeting, whatever it is, you assume how your day is going to go before it even starts. So you're making an assumption about that day. You've got assumptions about people. All the time we're making assumptions about people. They're already playing this role that we've given them. I've got a whole episode on that called Let's Talk About Free Will. I think it's 102. So somebody asked me for the link for it the other day. But it might not be. 112 or 102, I think it is. So you're making assumptions about people, about how they're going to react to you, about how they're going to treat you. You're making assumptions about every single person that you encounter in your reality. And all of these assumptions, not all of them, because obviously you're becoming conscious creators, so you will be changing those, but most of those assumptions, as you know, are running on autopilot. They're coming from your subconscious mind. They've not got your awareness behind them, so you're not aware of what you're creating. So I just want you to think about that for a second, like go back to this morning, or maybe you were in this morning when you're listening. How are you assuming that your day is going to go, or how did you assume that your day was going to go? I'm recording this on a Monday, so maybe you woke up and thought, oh, fucking hell, it's Monday, like, shittest day of the week, it's going to be awful, it's going to feel like it's 15 hours long at work. What were you assuming this morning, and how did it feel? Or maybe you're waking up now, and you're just going into that day, and you're going to stop making those assumptions and make new ones now. So if that's the case, I'm very glad I caught you. But your assumptions are shaping your reality. They are creating your reality all of the time. Your dominant assumptions are acting as those mental filters that shape how you are perceiving everything, how you're experiencing your reality. And your life experiences confirm your assumptions, because your mind is constantly seeking proof of what it believes. So it's like a cycle, a never-ending cycle, until you change the cycle. So changing your assumptions has the ability to shift your entire experience of reality. Nothing is fixed. It is all based on your perceptions that are coming from your assumptions. So when you change your assumptions, you change your experience of reality. And that is why two people can experience the same thing and have very different recounts of that experience. Somebody could have had a really good time, somebody could have had a really shit time, and that experience could be the same thing, but they have perceived it in a different way because they're making different assumptions to each other. So it's really, really important that you start choosing assumptions that serve you. You've got to make assumptions that serve you. So I want you to identify an area of your life, or not even an area of your life, like zone in on something that really pisses you off, like day to day, that maybe you've never even thought about in regards to like manifestation before. So it might be the traffic near you, or it might be the way that somebody at your workplace speaks to you or treats you. Just think of something that gets on your tits all the time. Really think of that. And think about what assumptions are you holding about that person, about that situation, about that thing. Does that match up to your experience? Because you'll probably find, yes, it does. It's very unlikely that you'll go into work and think, oh, my boss is so lovely and so kind, and then they start bollocking you and belittling you. It doesn't happen like that, because you are in control. You are shaping that reality with your dominant thoughts, your dominant assumptions. So intentionally creating new ones that support you having a life which is very easy, very joyful, very fun, will change your life, literally will change your life. Because we're often, and I'm including myself in this, very focused on our big visions. But if we are holding dominant assumptions about how our day-to-day life runs, it's a struggle. Like, if you're holding shitty assumptions about that, it's going to be a struggle. So we've got to really create those carefully. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I posted a reel last week, and it was a really good example of how your assumptions about your day-to-day life can shape how you experience it. So I'll just retell that little story. So I was going to Lidl because Lidl have got the most banging bakery I have ever known. And I'm a bakery connoisseur, guys. A bakery fucking connoisseur. So they've got these loaves there that I really like, and I just had a craving for some of this particular bread, and it was a Sunday, I think it was. So I drove to Lidl, which is like 15-20 minutes away from me because we've not got one nearby. And because it was Sunday, like obviously people are out and about. And I got there and there was a queue from the road to get into the car park, right? Most people who were sitting in that queue, I know, will have thought, oh God, I'm never going to be able to find a car parking space because it's only quite a small car park. They'd be thinking, oh, they're not going to have what I want, like what I'm going in for, it'll be sold out because it's been so busy all day. They'll be thinking that they'd have to queue for absolutely ages. Now, I hold assumptions, and I don't even feel like I have, I've not like programmed these in intentionally. I think it's just come with constantly practicing the law of assumption. But I realised in that moment that I don't hold those shitty assumptions about my everyday life. And that is why my life feels really easy to me. Like I genuinely don't find my life hard very often. Like everything usually goes my way. And it's because I've got dominant assumptions that work in my favour. So anyway, we were all queuing up on the road, and I was like, well, that's fine. It doesn't matter because I'm going to be in this car park in a minute and I'm going to find the perfect spot because I always find the perfect spot. And they're going to have what I want, which was this loaf. And then I'm going to get served within 1 minute. So something that I definitely have, like I have put this one in, is that I get served within a minute at a till. If I'm in a busy shop, I get served within a minute. So I've wired that one in intentionally because I don't like fucking queuing, guys. Don't like queuing. So anyway, we get onto this car park. I say we, it was me on my own in the car. And this car park loops around like a horseshoe. Now it's wide enough on either side for 2 cars easily. But the general direction is that people go into the left and they loop round and they come out of the same like place where we came in. So I got to the point where you turn left or right, and everybody was turning left because everybody's running off the same programming. They're thinking the same way. They're thinking, oh, I've got to sit in this queue. Well, someone at the other side of the car park was obviously pulling out, and that was blocking the traffic that was going round to the left on the car park. So on the right-hand side, there's no cars coming. It's completely clear. There's literally nothing in the road. And I could see 2 car parking spaces right next to each other. So I turned right and I drove up this little bit of the car park, parked in the perfect space, like immediately, no waiting. So then I walked in, and it was a Sunday, and usually on a Sunday they don't have like fresh stuff in the bakery because I don't know why, but they don't tend to have it on a Sunday, I've noticed. So I was like, they're going to have this loaf because I really want this loaf. And when I got there was like 8 loaves there. So they'd just been done. They were literally all there. They weren't anywhere near selling out of them. So I got my loaf. And then I looked down the aisle and I saw that there was a big fuck off queue of people. And that's all right. I didn't react to circumstances because I know that I get served in a minute. That's it. It's a fact because it's a dominant assumption that I hold. So I walked down the other aisle and I walked towards a different till. And when I got there, they opened a new till, like immediately, which always seems to happen, like because I always have this assumption. So they opened this new till, but there were 2 people who were just like slightly in front of me, and I'm not about to start fucking barging past them because I don't need to do that because I get served in a minute. I know that I do. So the first person just had like a couple of things, so they got served within literally like 30 seconds. They went straight there, put them through the till, they were gone. And the other person in front of me was a man, and he had a big trolley load of shopping. He was on his own. He had this big trolley load of shopping, and he started to load his stuff onto the conveyor belt thing that goes up to the till. And the evidence showed, like the circumstances showed, that there was no way that I was going to get served within the minute. Like that wasn't possible because this person was loading his stuff up in front of me. And then he turned around to me and he was like, oh, it's all right, you can go ahead of me. My wife's just gone getting something else. So I walked ahead of him and I got served literally within a minute of me getting near the till because my dominant assumptions are creating my reality. So regardless of the circumstances, absolutely packed out in Lidl, like people queuing on the car park, not normally having what I want in the bakery on a Sunday or that, not what I want, but, like not having fresh stuff in the bakery on a Sunday, doesn't matter. Those circumstances did not matter. They did not alter my experience of reality because I hold dominant assumptions that serve me. So that was an example. Like tonight, another one. I went to Home Bargains with my mum and she came in my car. So she didn't have her car keys with her, and she normally has one of those little trolley tokens on her car keys. And you have to put one of those tokens in to get one of the trolleys out at ours. So she got out of the car, she didn't have the token. I'd looked in the car, there was no quid, but she was like, I'm just going to go and get a trolley. She went over, all the other trolleys are locked up and there's just one trolley waiting for her. And it was one of the short trolleys because she's got this thing that she doesn't like the deep trolleys, she only likes the little shallow ones. And it was just there right in front of her because she knew that there was going to be one there because she held that assumption that she was going to get a trolley. So I know that's not very exciting. Like, I'm well aware of that. It's not very exciting to get a trolley at Home Bargains. It's not very exciting to, get a loaf from Lidl. But if you think about how things can be a struggle in your everyday life. Oh, are we having a sneezing fit, Gloria? No? Oh, maybe. If you think about how things can be a struggle in your everyday life, you can see the importance of creating assumptions that serve you in that everyday life. Like, it's not just about your big vision, it's about right now. And there'll be so many little things that you are holding assumptions about, people, scenarios, routines, things like that are not serving you. And if you rewire those, your experience of reality is going to change dramatically. You have the ability, without a doubt, to recreate, like in The Truman Show. No, The Truman Show is obviously like, it's not what we're aiming for. But just think, if you've not seen it, it's a really good film. But just think of the scene where, like, he's going to work in the morning and all the cars pull out at the same time and there's no traffic and he drives straight there. And then the guy's waiting for him with the paper in his hand to pass it in when he goes to the kiosk to buy his paper. And everybody's, like, being really polite and the sun's shining and everything's really nice until he discovers that his whole life's a lie, but not that part. But think about that scene where everything is just going smoothly. You can create that reality. Like, you can create it. I'm not saying it's going to be like The Truman Show, but do you know what I mean? Everything is going to flow easily. It's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable. You're going to interact with people that, are really kind to you, really nice to you. You're always going to get served first at the till. Like, you're going to get little Brucey bonuses all over the place. So create assumptions that are going to make your life easier. Even down to things like assuming things about yourself, like personally. If you're assuming that you are really messy, like I've done for a very long time, you're always going to live in a messy house. If you change that assumption intentionally and rewire it to being somebody who's super organised or somebody whose house is always super tidy, then that's what you're going to create, because your subconscious is driving all of your actions based on your belief system, your assumptions, your dominant thoughts. It's driving your actions. And I think that's what people don't understand about manifestation, and what I talked about either last episode or the episode before. Manifestation is not magic. It's perception. It's altering your perception of the world around you by filtering out anything that you're not paying attention to so that you do not experience it in your reality, and focusing on everything that you do put your attention to and creating more of that. So that's why, again, you can have two very different experiences of the same event or the same world. And manifestation is also holding an identity that aligns with what you desire, so that your subconscious can then, from that programming, drive behaviours that can create that. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Just imagine for a second how much easier your life would be if you assumed that you love going to your job, that you really enjoy the people that you work with, you're really excited to do the job that is your role. Imagine how easy things would be if you were to do that, rather than feeling like everything's a fucking drag all the time. Imagine if you just changed the assumptions. I was on TikTok the other day going down an absolute rabbit hole of watching like like those crime podcasts and little videos of people when they're on trial for murder. Like, not my usual cup of tea, but you know what it's like. You go on TikTok, you go down a rabbit hole. So I was watching about all these people, and a lot of them were men, and like they'd done really awful things. And then I noticed that I was starting to feel a bit like, like men were like bad, just very briefly. It hadn't wired in at all. But like I started to notice like I was viewing people through a different lens, like almost suspicious of people and thinking, I wonder what that person, like that man's done, and not at all like what I would normally think. But that altered my perception of men. So I intentionally, the day after, was like, no, like men are so nice, like they're so polite. It's completely safe to be around men. They're all, I rewired that assumption, and immediately, all that day, men were like super nice to me, holding doors open, really polite, chatting, smiling, making you feel really comfortable. Just every man that I interacted with that day was the opposite of these men that I'd been watching on these TikTok videos, So that was a bit of a random example, but it just popped in my head then, because everything is shaping your assumptions unless you decide what you're going to assume. You can consciously choose to assume something new and wire that in through repetition, and emotional impact. So this will make your life so much easier. So I really want you to start having a look at your life. Have a look at things that regularly piss you off. Is there something about your life that regularly pisses you off? Is there something about your environment? Is there something about the people that you spend time with? Is there something about you that affects you day to day? Like an assumption that you hold about yourself, about other people, about the world around you. Change that assumption and watch how that changes. So a negative one that I had, for example, was when I used to work at my school, the school that I used to work at before I left. I was late, I was always running late. So I created this dominant assumption that I could not get to school on time. Like, I couldn't do it. So I was assuming all the time, even though that was going right against what I wanted to experience. I held this wiring, this dominant assumption that I was always late for work. And guess fucking what, babe? I was always late for work. Like, I'm not talking now and again, like every day, guys, I was late for work. If you are a parent of any of the children that I used to teach, you'll have seen me sprinting into school at 9:05 in the morning. And it didn't matter how early I got up, it didn't matter which route I took to work, because I held that dominant assumption that I was always late for work. Something would happen, to make me late. So there'd either be like a crash on the motorway, or I'd randomly take a completely wrong turning on a journey that I took every day and like go miles out of my way and have to come all the way back, or I'd lose my car keys. Something would always happen to make sure that I was late for work, because I was creating that reality through my dominant assumptions. So is there something similar maybe in your life that you are assuming that is causing you to feel like life's a struggle? It might be that there's a certain path, like if you drive up that road you always get stuck in traffic. Well, play with that assumption, rewire something else in, like, oh, that's a really fast route, like I never get stuck in traffic there. Somebody once told me that the traffic was bad on a Tuesday, like that the traffic was really bad on a Tuesday, and I accepted that belief. And I'm not joking you, every Tuesday, horrendous traffic. I had never noticed this before in my life, like literally never noticed it. And from that moment when I accepted somebody else's assumption and made it my own, I experienced that in my reality from there on out. So be very careful about what you are assuming every single day. Really focus on that this week, rather than focusing this week on your big vision. Like, obviously I want you to do that as well, but just try that. Like, have a little sit down, get your journal out and think, what's annoying me? Like, what is it about my life that makes it feel like it's not a movie, like I'm not the main character, and start looking at what assumptions you are holding about that and replacing them with new ones. So when that thought comes up, you repeat the new one over it, because this is news to a lot of people. You don't have to believe your thoughts. Like, if a thought comes up that's automatically generated, you can correct it. You can say, no thanks, I'm not accepting that now. I'm having this thought instead. That's it. Like, you have to train it like a dog, but you don't have to believe all your thoughts. They're already programmed in, so they're going to come up automatically, but you can retrain them by choosing not to believe them and to replace them with something else, like you would correct an animal. Like, if you were, if you got a new puppy, you train it by repetition. You keep showing it what was the correct thing to do until it did it automatically. So that's what you've got to do with your subconscious. So I'm going to leave you there because it's been 25 minutes of me rambling on. Again, I went a little bit rogue with no notes, so I hope that all made sense to you. Before you go, I am just going to mention this as well, in case you are not on my email list, or in case you hold negative assumptions in this area, something that I am very fucking excited about. Very excited. Like, I sent an email out about it while I was out having my dinner, and I was like giddy, like I nearly had to get up and jump about because I was so giddy. So I am running a brand new program that's outside of the membership, which is going to be a 4-week, very close proximity, like very close coaching program called Consciously Wealthy, which is just going to be purely focused on manifesting money and rewiring your assumptions, your mind for wealth. And I honestly can't wait to teach this. We're going to start it at the end of March, so the 31st of March will be the first one. It's going to be so fucking good. So I'm going to be teaching you everything that I know about wealth creation using the law of assumption, exactly how I manifested a 12 grand month, literally in a matter of weeks after having loads of like red letters and bills and shit. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're going to start it on the 31st of March. And if you want a place, be quick, because I'm only opening this up to 6 people because I want you to have lots of my attention throughout the 4 weeks that we're working together. And 2 of the spaces have already gone, which is very exciting. So it is going to be pretty intense. If you want any more information about it, just let me know and I'll send you the email that I sent out. But it is going to be pretty intense. So it's not going to be for you if you are sort of not able to commit a little bit of time to it each day for those 4 weeks. Because we're going to go all in, guys. We're going to rewire that fucking mind so that you can manifest a ton of money, which is very exciting. But if that is for you, let me know. Drop me a DM or go to the link that's in my bio and you can book your space there. If it's not on there, it's because it's sold out by the time you've listened. But hopefully you will be in there, and the person that's listening to me right now is going to be in my group of 6, and I'm very fucking excited. So yeah, if you are ready to invest in yourself and start really rewiring yourself for that wealth creation, and you're sick of just fucking creating the same old shit when it comes to money, come and join us. So go and book that now. Like I said, send me a message if you want any more information. But I'll see you in there, and I can't wait to work with you. So have a lovely week, rewire those assumptions about your everyday life, and come in the Facebook group, tag me in your stories and let me know in a review what you thought of this podcast, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.